Good morning, Patrick. Welcome back to the channel.
Good morning, Jeff. Great to be back here.
It's a great day outside, but there's a typhoon coming around tonight, I think.
There is. I don't know the sequence. I don't know the if this is the 20th or the 15th or 25th, but it feels like we've had our fair share of typhoons
It's
this year.
one more than
Uh,
enough.
but but you're absolutely right. It's perfect weather, as is usual. Just before and just after a typhoon, the weather is fantastic.
Well, I believe it's going to be a post-war record once they hoist the typhoon tonight. But hopefully it's not going to do too much damage to the local economy or any of our viewers' homes. So please stay safe and take all precautions, even if it may not be a strong typhoon. You know, some areas could be hit really hard for no reason. Stay safe, everyone.
Absolutely. I can only second that.
Yeah. So speaking of the economy, it's not doing so well. And I think it's safe to say that historically speaking, when economies aren't doing too well, the number of frauds and scams rise commensurately with the health of the economy. And recently, we've seen a number of scams related to gold investments. So, Patrick, our viewers may not be aware that you are in a unique position that you're a gold dealer and also a lawyer by trade. So, I think you are in the perfect position to comment on this. How could people protect themselves from these gold scams?
Yes. First off, you're right. In economically hard times, you invariably see an increase of frauds. And you especially saw that, let's say, during the Corona days, during COVID.
Yes.
So the spike in fraud cases in 2020, 2021 was exponential. It really went through the roof. And sort of post Corona, the tail end of Corona, we saw a sort of flattening of the curve, if you want to use that analogy. In fraud cases, people got busy with normal economic activity. Also, of course, law enforcement does catch up with new trends in frauds and then clamps down on them. And then it takes the nefarious elements in society some time to come up with the next fraud. But in general, it is safe to say that you do have to be cautious in the gold investment space. There are a lot of fraudsters, there are a lot of people that waste your time. There are a lot of people that float deals that are a waste of time at best and fraudulent at worst.
Hmm.
Now, what to look out for? I think, the golden rule really is not specific to gold investment, it's to any investment, really. If it's too good to be true, it very likely is not true. People that are selling gold at vast discounts, there's no reason at all why anybody should be selling gold at a discount. There is a very, very established market for gold products, whether physical or paper gold. So there is absolutely no reason why anybody should be trading gold at any sort of significant discounts, right? So that should be your first red flag. Your another red flag should be just look at the names that people use or companies that they use. Are they in a jurisdiction that you're familiar with? So why would you be trading gold with a company that's registered somewhere in the Caribbean or in the Middle East when you're in Singapore and Hong Kong? Deal with a Hong Kong dealer, right? Check whether the dealer is registered with Hong Kong Customs. We have a registration regime in Hong Kong. I don't know if people are aware of this. It's relatively new. So anybody who's carrying on the trade of dealing in precious metals or in precious stones has to be registered by with Hong Kong Customs. and is subject to their oversight. So they can come and inspect our documents, for example, in the gold business that my family operates. We have certain requirements in terms of anti-money laundering, right? So we have to do a basic KYC check on every single of our customer. We have to document all those things, right? So those are definitely things that just need to be done according to the rules here in Hong Kong. And if somebody that you're dealing with is not doing those things, you should be very alert to see whether you're dealing with somebody who's genuinely in the gold business. Also, just very easy. Everybody has Google on their phones. Google the name. If you're dealing with a genuine gold dealer, you will have, you'll have a website, you'll have an official email address, you'll have a phone number, you'll have a Hong Kong customs registration, you will have maybe newspaper reports about the business, you may have radio reports about the business, you may have interviews, and it just completes the picture of who am I dealing with here. And it's not like you're going to a pub and you're buying a beer, right? You're investing sometimes an awful lot of money into a product, and just really do your due diligence. And lastly, what I'll say is there is no need for time pressure. Okay, so that should be another red flag. Again, not specific to gold trading, but to any investment really. If somebody is starting to create time pressure and is pushing you, oh, you have to say yes or no now, you have to transfer money now, otherwise the deal will be gone. Well, then let the deal be gone. Don't act under time pressure. That's when mistakes happen. And there's no shortage of gold. There's no shortage of silver products, at least here in Hong Kong. It may take a week or two before you actually even get delivery. So there is no need for any haste in these transactions. Quite literally, take your time, do your due diligence. If in doubt, ask your friends whether they have dealt with these businesses before. Rely on word of mouth introductions. And any serious gold dealer, like any serious lawyer, like any serious doctor, like any serious financial advisor, like any serious MPF advisor, has no problem meeting you and answering questions and showing you the products and walking you through the pros and cons without time pressure and without hardcore sales tactics. And that's really who you should be dealing with, rather than people that promise you the sun, moon, and stars and then take your money and run for the hills.
That's great investor education. That last bit, I think it's the most important, because FOMO, or fear of missing out, is it's real, and people do have FOMO, especially in times like these, and that makes them susceptible to people who are actually being pushy. And
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
It's a good way to tell. Go on.
No, please.
Oh, it's these tactics, they're usually used on people who are desperate in some sort of way, or they do not want to miss out on a rising trend like gold and silver is at the moment. And, at these times, they're most vulnerable. And that's why this type of investor education is so important.
100% agree. And please, everybody remember, most fraudsters, if not all fraudsters, don't have a tattoo on their forehead saying fraud. It is easy to fall for them. And that's why take your time, hang up the phone, walk away, go for a walk around the block, and take your 5 minutes, talk to your wife, talk to your friend, and just really take the steam out of these things.
Yeah.
And don't take everything for face value. Do your own homework. There's so much rubbish being told, especially in the gold business. this thing about, there's an expiry date on gold. If it's older than 5 years, you won't be able to sell it anymore. It's not certified and all that sort of stuff. It's complete rubbish. Gold is gold. It can be 6,000 years old. If you bring it to a trader like our family business, we'll melt it down. We'll pay you out the fair market value minus a reasonable processing fee for it. We don't care whether it's a day old, the bar, or whether it's 50 years old, or whether it's 3,000 years old. Gold is gold. The stuff they're telling you, and instead of educating investors properly what to look for in the product and being upfront and honest with people and saying, look, a physical gold bar is not a gold certificate that you're trading through your brokerage account, which can be traded at lightning speed online. This is a physical gold product. You actually have to come to a place, you have to pay for it, and then you get it, and then you have to take it home. You have to store it. So there's also considerations which, some people may take as a downside to the investment in a physical product, because yes, you have to transport it. Yes, you have to store it in a safe place, and best not to forget where you stored it. So don't leave it lying around in your night desk or in your office drawer. Get a safety deposit box. Of course, that costs you money again. So there's a lot of ins and outs to all these investments, and please only deal with people that'll sit down, take the time, talk to people, listen to the investor, and explain what the reality is, and give an unvarnished look of the pros and cons of the investment, and the practical sides as well of the investment. Don't sit in these big seminars where those pressure cookers where they make you feel special because they've got a nice glitzy office somewhere in the CBD, and they've got these motivational type speakers that get up and they give you a half an hour. They wear you down essentially. They give you a half an hour sermon on how great they are, and that now is the opportunity and the last opportunity to get on the bandwagon. Like you said, fear of missing out, you only live once type mentality, tapping into that. And then also getting the herd mentality going, right? You're in a group, everybody is signing up. Oh, I better sign up as well because, otherwise I'm going to miss out on this investment. And it's I firmly believe the wrong way of going about it.
Interesting choice of word, sermon. So
Yeah.
a bit of religious connotation.
Yes. Well, look, I mean, when you actually see these videos, they do remind me of these TV pastors
Oh yeah,
that you
these
that you have in the
evangelists.
US in particular.
Yeah,
That that they're very engaging, they're very persuasive, and the show that they put on is amazing.
oh yeah,
And of course, what a lot of people also don't realize is a lot of these TV pastors in the US, they're running a business as well. So they're selling themselves and they're selling their church and they're looking for members. So that's how I came to
yeah,
the word sermon.
yeah. No, that's a great choice of word for that. Well, I don't suppose YouTube cracks down on anti-religious sentiment, right? So we should be fine. Anyway,
I don't think so. Yes.
yeah, I don't think only politics, man. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I know you're on a tight schedule, so one final point. So you shared that article with me a couple of weeks ago about the American businessman who lost $74 million in the online gold scam. So how do you think the government could approach these cases, and what more can they do? Because this type of incident, hurts Hong Kong's reputation.
It is a very there's no easy solution, in all honesty, I believe,
Mhm.
because there's always this the problem is Hong Kong's efficiency, right?
Yes.
And Hong Kong's openness. So Hong Kong, as we know, is a free port. There's no capital restrictions in Hong Kong. It's a major financial center. I believe it just got confirmed as the third largest and third most important a financial center globally after New York and London, and it has been in that position for quite some time. So you have very advanced financial services businesses here, including banking systems, and they work very well. And they work in multiple currencies, and they work in international payments. It's very normal for Hong Kong companies to have international payments and receive payments from international destinations. So, and that is part and parcel of what Hong Kong is. It's a trading hub, right? And it needs those systems in order to be successful against other trading hubs, let's say, like Singapore, here in Asia. But that, of course, can be exploited by people with nefarious intentions. And that's exactly what you see. And what you actually see is that very often the funds don't remain in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong actually has quite a good legal system, which is still based on the common law system that was installed during British days here. And the police actually, once alerted to a fraud, do act rather fast in terms of freezing accounts. But what you see is that, as soon as the money comes in, the money is then transferred outside of Hong Kong's jurisdiction. So Hong Kong rarely is the final destination of these funds. It is it's a conduit for funds, and it then is transferred, to places like mainland China or Taiwan or Singapore, and then it continues its route into God knows where. And that's exactly what makes it so difficult then to trace, because the money comes into Singapore. You have a client that alerts the police then freezes the account, but the money is gone. You can then trace the money to where it went, but then you have to go to the police in that country and start the process in that country. And chances are the money has been transferred out of that account to a third country. So you very quickly end up in a wild goose chase. And it is terribly time consuming, and it can get very expensive. So this is kind of a long prelude to what can the Hong Kong government do about this. It's really difficult to change the financial system without harming Hong Kong's standing in global financial centers type standing, right? So we want fast banking facilities. We want capital freedom. We want to be able to make international transfers without the bank questioning everything and sending requests for documents and so on and so forth. So I think what we really need to do is we really need to have more citizen education. And we should start in school. Why do we teach kids all the basics of mathematics and all the basics of language and literature, and not even have 1 hour a week in money education, right? I mean, money is so important for the rest of your life, and being able to household and budget, and also to identify obvious signs of scams and maybe red flags that should make you question whether a transaction is a genuine transaction or should go ahead or not.
Yeah.
We really should start in schools with this, and other than that, in social media and online. And as I've seen now, banks are starting to educate their customers, because of course banks also don't want these transactions going through their accounts, because it's a cost factor for them as well. They're then stuck with frozen accounts, with compliance cost, with a police investigation, and the bad reputation that goes with reporting about that. So it's in the interest of the banks as well to stop this. And I've seen that they are quite proactive now in when they see, well, first of all, they're deploying AI to monitor transactions. So if there's any transaction in an account which is outside of the usual pattern, it will usually get flagged, and the bank will proactively contact the customer and confirm whether this is a genuine transaction or not. Now, very often, banking customers complain about this, but I think it's actually quite a good thing. And the banks are actually quite fast in doing these follow-ups. So it's not like they're dragging their heels and it takes 10 days to effect a transfer. They actually contact you on the day of the transfer, and they contact you by phone. And it's usually a simple verification of, like, is this really did you input this transaction, and do you want to make this payment? And has anybody contacted you in connection with this payment with a change of bank account, or with emailing you instructions, or has anybody put you under time pressure, and so on and so forth? So they're trying to assess, is this, a genuine transaction or not? And in the vast majority of the cases, they'll be able very quickly to identify that over the phone in a personal conversation.
So thank you for the sharing, Patrick. In summary, for those of you, who find this information helpful, 3 lessons today. Avoid FOMO, do your due diligence, and do not buy anything under spot price. That's
Absolutely
about right. Yeah. Okay, so if you find any of this helpful, please like and subscribe to this channel. It would be great for us to keep producing high quality content like this. Once again, Patrick, thank you for your time. Have a nice day, and talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jeff. Best of luck.
Bye.
See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.